What's up, my know-it-alls? We just watched Madam Web, and it's the long-awaited, not long-awaited review. And I'm with my boyfriend know-it-all, and yeah, let's get into it.
I was mentioned on the Barbie episode.
You were mentioned on the Barbie episode.
Hey, so this was just I'm gonna just start out. The 3 best words to describe this movie are bad, bad, bad.
It was horrible. Like, okay, like, you're probably wondering, like, why did we wait so long to do this review? And it's not, like, because of him. Like, no, like, we didn't want to waste our money to see it. There was no point to, and it was horrible. Oh, my God.
Like, I saw all the reviews were bad. I was wanting to give this movie a shot solely because, like, I mean, I understood it was more than likely going to be bad, which it was horrible.
It was absolutely horrible.
I was, at one point, there was one line towards the end of the movie where me and her were just hysterical.
We were just laughing.
You did it.
It was so bad. And so basically, like, you open up, where were they? Rio? No. Where were
It was in Peru. It was 1973.
They give you no context this entire time, and it's just this lady looking for a spider, you know, and we're like, okay, why are you looking for the spider? And she ends up, like, finding the spider, and, like, this guy's with her, and the guy's like, oh, betraying her, and, like...
Oh, don't forget, she was talking about how, like, oh, I need this spider because it has, like, mythical powers that can help me with what is revealed later in the movie while she's looking at the spider.
Because her baby has, like, a bone marrow or, like, muscle thing going on.
And then the dude that was with her, who ends up being the villain later in the movie, he was kind of agreeing with her about the powers, and then she just goes, but that's an urban legend.
Yeah,
like,
that's an urban legend, you know?
I like to base my research in science, not legends, Mr. Sims.
Anyway, so she finds it, like, she goes back, she's like, oh my gosh, I found this spider. The guy betrayed her and ends up shooting everyone, and was like, I need the spider.
And then she's holding the spider in the jar, and, like, he's, like, holding her at gunpoint. Like, dude.
Like, just give up the jar. Give up the spider. Your baby can have, like, a bone muscle disease thing or whatever. That's fine. But at the same time, it's just like, your baby would still live. Just, I understand, like, the spider was convenient, but at the same time, there's no point. Like, you died over a spider.
And then, so the dude shoots her, and then takes the spider anyway. So she died for nothing. So then these random, like, spider people, I forget what they're called.
They're called spider people because you can't say Spider-Man, you can't say Spider-Woman, you can't...
They had, like, some specific term that they were called in the movie, but I forgot.
Las arañas.
Las arañas?
Las arañas.
So one of the, like, I guess he was, like, the main leader of them. He takes her, like, dying body and puts her in this water, and then another spider, which you...
Another spider? Isn't it seen?
Yeah, there's like an entire, like, clip between, like, him taking her to the pool wherever, like, she dies, of just, like,
a bunch of spiders. Like, she did not have to die over that spider. Like,
so the spider, like, bites her chest, and then, like, he gives birth to the baby, which is just a plastic doll, which was...
Oh, the plastic doll? Oh, my gosh. There's so much going
Yeah, it was so not conjoined that it was just hard to understand sometimes.
Yeah. Anyway, so then it fast forwards to 2003. So she's like 27.
It cuts to the main actor, Dakota Johnson. Her name was Cassie in this movie, I believe.
Yeah.
And it cuts to her and Ben Parker. I forget the actor's name, but
it's that guy.
And
you would notice.
Never thought I'd be this happy to be back in Queens.
In an ambulance, they're both EMTs. She turns out to be the worst.
She's a horrible person. Like, she had no redeeming qualities at all. She was horrible. Anyways, so in the first 10 minutes, I would say, she's introduced. All the characters in play are introduced. It's Cassie from... Hold on. Where can I point them out?
It's Sydney Sweeney plays Julia.
The girl from Instant Family, and then the girl from Ghostbusters. By the way, watch that review. Thank you. And so they're all introduced in the first 10 minutes. You know, super convenient. And yeah, and she's just a horrible person.
So then cuts to her. They cuts to a scene where they're at the hospital together. And, like, she's given, like, a little picture. And this is how you know she's a bad person, is because she saves some little kid's life, and like she gets a picture drawn from the kid saying like, "Oh, you saved my family." And because she doesn't have a dad or a mom, she gets sad and throws it away. Like, you're just a bad person. So then,
By the way, I noticed in the picture, because that's Sydney Sweeney's like stepbrother or whatever.
yeah.
Like she just wasn't in the picture. I'm like, okay, way to like really lay it on like thick. Like, okay, that's fine.
So then she has this ability where she can see into the future, which it's not implied that she can. It's implied by a scene acting out and then it cutting right back to what
Which
just
was
happened.
absolutely horrible.
So then it cuts to a scene where she's at a, she gets rushed from Ben to the docks, have a giant explosion happening over there with a giant fire. So it cuts to her giving CPR to this one dude.
They keep flipping back and forth between this one guy and
so
like her
confusing.
chief or something.
It cut to her giving CPR to the dude who was in pain, and then it cut to her having a vision giving CPR to the chief. And it just kept doing that over and
It
over.
was really confusing. And then, you know, she was like, let me drive the ambulance. Let me drive the ambulance. Like, she's like, not really.
Yeah,
She's like, hey, let me drive the ambulance. Like, she's not like, oh my gosh, let me drive the ambulance.
The chief is gets in the ambulance. I think he's going back to his post is what he was saying. It was like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then conveniently, as he pulls out, there's just a semi-truck hauling.
So convenient. So he ends up dying, you know, she's giving CPR and stuff. Has she fallen off the bridge yet? Have we missed it?
No, not yet. The funniest part about that scene was when it cuts to like the rig hitting the ambulance, there's maybe 20 meters between where the accident happened and water, and the rig was going at full speed, so physically it would have just driven off into the water. So this movie clearly never passed elementary school.
Yeah, so him and I completely missed this part. Like, they get like this call that, you know, there's like this guy, he like needs help or whatever, and so they're helping out, and like they pull him out of the car, she falls into the water and she dies for 3 minutes, and that's how she starts getting these visions.
And then Uncle Ben, but Ben Ben Parker, which is Peter Parker's in like most of like the movies and the comics, is his uncle. He revives her, but like while she's in the water, she's like out of her body and like an out of body experience with like these like cloudy webs forming around her and like this giant orb looking thing. It was kind of cool looking. But then anyway, once she's revived and all that sort of stuff, then the chief issue happens and all that happens.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to her in New York in one of the subway stations. And she keeps having visions individually. It starts off with the
Who does it start off with?
in the yellow shirt.
No, does it?
Yeah.
I thought it started off with her.
No, Sydney Sweeney.
She's seen it. No,
She was the last one.
She's seen in the first. No, she was seen in the back. I don't know. Anyways, as you were saying,
But it individually,
they're all seen.
It individually shows the main villain, who was the guy who took the spider at the beginning of the movie. It individually shows him like killing each of the girls because in an earlier scene, he hooks up with this woman, which he ends up killing for some reason. But the reason he kills her is because he has these visions that each of the girls grown up will like kill him, which is the stupidest part about that is that they somehow incorporate the pictures from his visions into a computer, which they take AI to somehow perfectly match up how like present day it was.
Yeah.
So they get like a perfect AI image of what they look like.
There's only
in the same clothes.
There's only so much movie magic you can do without it being too convenient.
It was corny. It was corny.
It was so convenient for this movie. They're on this train, and she basically like kidnaps them, and like, by the way, this entire movie they were just justifying this 27-year-old woman just kidnapping all of these girls because like in a vision she was like getting arrested, and conveniently it just does not happen. And
because she stops the dude from killing them, which obviously is smart because you don't want
them to die.
So but then Sydney Sweeney, or Julia, she just yells, "Kidnap her!
Kidnap her!
This woman's trying to abduct us.
What? No, that's not. Shh.
Which gets her later arrested, but as Dakota Johnson is getting arrested, the dude comes and just kills the cops, which is really stupid because if you want to kill the girls, why are you killing the cops that are seizing the lady that are stopping you from killing the main objective? This movie was so...
It was so bad. And then so they go and she steals a taxi and they go to like the woods or something, and they're talking for a very little amount of time, and she goes, I'm gonna leave you here.
I'm gonna be back in a few hours.
Like, you're leaving like the teenage girls that you just kidnapped there? Like, I don't think that
He gives them expired beef jerky.
Expired beef jerky, yeah.
So then she leaves, and then all the girls are talking, and they kind of introduce themselves to each other, like what like their background like is.
Because Julia knows Taekwondo.
Yeah, Julie.
She took a year of Taekwondo.
That's what I thought.
So the skater girl, apparently her parents have some money, left her some money before they went to China. They're like, oh, I saw a diner like a mile down the road. Let's just go walk down there and go get it. As Dakota Johnson is driving in the taxi back home to look at the suitcase that her mom was...
Conveniently left her.
Yeah, and it shows pictures of like her and the evil villain dude together. Really?
I don't even know what his name was. Yeah. Do you know what his name was?
No. Spider-Man looking.
Spider-Man guy, but not allowed to say Spider-Man.
Yeah. So then they go to the diner, and then Dakota Johnson has a vision that all the girls get killed by the evil dude, and like because they're all trying to hook up with these guys, which it was just a scene. But they're like dancing on a table, and then she comes like, get off that table, and then the dude comes in, like
he just randomly kills people.
Throws Julia into the chair, like into one of the booths, kills her, then kills the skater girl by like throwing her, and then stabs Dakota Johnson. But then she snaps back from her. It was a vision the whole time.
Yeah, it was a vision. So another poor edit.
Yeah, it was like it snaps from the vision back to where she was at the camp because she found the girls weren't there. So she gets in the car and she rushes to the diner, but she's too late because the evil dude's already at the diner.
But what does she conveniently do?
Zooms to the front door and knocks him out.
Exactly. So she crashed into so many things throughout this movie. That's great. So after that,
she like slams the door on the dude. Yeah. He has this vision or like this power where he can like grab somebody and like distribute poison through their body. So he grabs her for a second and she's kind of hurt. So then they get in the taxi and they drive off and they go to a motel, and then she's like, she puts them to sleep, and they introduce like apparently none of them have parents because
none of them just usually have
Julia's Julia's dad died.
No,
and her mom was a psych ward.
Yeah,
and then the skater girl, her parents don't care and moved to China.
And then the Hispanic girl's dad is supported, and her mom died when she was like 5.
Yeah.
So all of them conveniently don't really have parents.
Which Dakota Johnson or Cassie happened to be in the foster care system, so they all conveniently
all this and so she leaves. She leaves
the motel.
She leaves after she just left these 17-year-old girls alone by themselves, and they left the first time, so I don't know why you thought that was a good idea, number one. Number two, she leaves, and then she sees the guy, and she goes
back to the diner. Yeah, goes back to the diner and has a conversation, like, telepathically almost, with the main villain, and, like, he tells her what she's trying to kill the girls for, and then, like, it cuts back to her being in the motel, waking up at, like, 5:07 in the morning, and it looks like it's 12.
So convenient. And so...
it cuts to them doing a CPR.
They're doing a whole CPR session, which, conveniently is needed at the end.
So then after that scene, Ben Parker comes to pick up the girls because Dakota Johnson decides to go to Peru to go figure out what her mom was doing in Peru with all them spiders. So
not all them spiders.
Ben Parker takes the girls to Peter Parker's mom. She's currently pregnant with Peter.
But you're not allowed to say his name.
Yeah, and then the Dakota Johnson goes to Peru and then conveniently instantly finds the dude that helped her mom give birth there.
Yeah, so then she goes,
"You've got to find your web.
You have to find your web." And so she goes, and then they go to this like cave thing, and
conveniently
where she was born. She's talking to this guy, and he was like, well, like, you just gotta access your like inner web or something. That's probably, honestly, I probably could have wrote this, and I'm like a terrible writer. And he was like, you gotta access your web, and he pushes her into the water. again.
And then she goes through this vision of like why her mom was in Peru. And it turns out that the baby, which was Dakota Johnson in the womb, had some disease, some neurological disease that would make her muscles and bones pretty much useless. So the only way that her mom was to be able to like save her from the neurological disease was to take her to Peru and get the venom from the spider to save the baby, which could have saved her and the baby if she just let the spider go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad Dakota Johnson's here so much, but at the same time, like, bro, like, there were so many more spiders.
Yeah.
There were so many more spiders. Anyways, so they have like this whole hugging moment.
Yeah,
and
she
she's
goes,
like, oh my gosh,
"You're not the mom I thought you were."
Like, you did it. Like, she hated her mom for dying. Like,
yeah, and when she said that, I can't tell you, when me and her just cried laughing for maybe 5 minutes. It was supposed to be a sweet scene, but
it was just so poorly executed.
The acting was so dry.
So the problem,
pretty sure I've texted better.
My thing is, I have to disagree with the acting because, like, it was bad, but it was bad because of because of how it was written.
The script was so bad that they kind of had to act dry. Like when she hugged her mom, she gotta hug her mom like with like the straight face emoji.
And I'm like, what are you doing? So she like snaps out of it.
Water, and she goes back, and it turns out that Mary, which is Peter's mom, is giving birth, and like
a month early.
So they all hop in Ben's car and start going to the hospital. But as Dakota Johnson's coming back, she looks into Mary's apartment because she can't find them and sees just a puddle of water on the ground.
Because her water broke.
It could have just been anything. Could have just been water. Oh, she's definitely giving birth.
No, she is definitely giving birth if they're so home.
She leaves the taxi she took to steal an ambulance.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and for some reason, I don't know what the technology was back in 2003, but she thought it was so smart to just take the license plate off of the taxi, even though at the top of the taxi it says the number. And I'm pretty sure taxis have like tracking devices in them, right? Like a GPS thing of sorts.
Yeah.
So
but he has a vision of the main guy exploding where like the car was, and so the hacker lady in the main villain's like house turns all the lights to green, which causes a giant traffic jam, which they're stuck in the middle of. And Dakota Johnson is like late to the guy trying to kill them, but conveniently there's just a Calvin Klein ad,
and guess what?
Goes through with the ambulance.
She gets into another crash, but for convenience, and so hits her. By the way, I don't know if you noticed this. He jumps up into her crash because he's just on the car and he jumps up and he gets struck by the car. I don't know why. Okay,
that one
cool.
From like the Spider-Man video game where it's Spider-Man does a backflip into getting picked up from
So that happens, and
they go into like a giant fight scene, and they go back to the
giants. Okay, giants. Come on now, there was not much action in this.
It was really kind of confusing solely because they mix so much of the visions with the
real life.
The actual action.
Yeah.
And it got to a point where they were doing it so much, they just gave up, and it just got to the point where Dakota Johnson was just going, Duck, look out!
Oh, yeah. And then so they drive off in the ambulance, they get Mary and them to the thing.
So it ends up to a scene where all three of the girls are in like a bad situation, but apparently these spider people have this ability to like be multiple places at once. So she like morphs into 4 people and picks up every one of them and saves them. And then the evil just punches her and like into a sign.
Okay, so before that happened though, they they're all hanging out in the car, like in the ambulance. And, she does a little like electrocution thing. And then she goes, oh, you're showing off. And she goes, yeah, a little bit. Like, it was so Disney. I was like, oh, that like hurt. Anyways, yeah.
She kills the dude, but they're on like a billboard sign. It's almost like the Hollywood sign, but like for like some random like company. But she falls off of it into the water, and she gets struck in the face with like a firework, which like blinds her. And then Julia, or Sydney Sweeney, jumps in, saves her, and then conveniently, they all do CPR.
Conveniently, the CPR comes in play.
So they save her, and then it just cuts to them like
in the hospital, right?
Yeah.
Peter's born, but you're not allowed to say his name.
Yeah.
So Mary's baby is born, and
all the girls are talking to Dakota like, the baby's really good.
The baby's healthy.
And a nurse comes in. A nurse comes in, is like, it's family only. And then Dakota goes,
This is my
this
family.
is my family.
This is my family. And so,
I could have written this better with a good prompt from AI.
like, this is my family. Like, okay. And so, they're talking, and then it cuts to her. Why is she looking out the window? She can't see. I just realized that. Why is she looking out the? So she turns out to be like this. She is like this, and she turns around, but like she's blind. And so why are you looking out the window?
She can't move either, so she's in a wheelchair, and they're all talking. And then she's like, oh, bless you, before a girl sneezes.
Yeah.
Like, oh, is that takeout from like Chinese? I love compound chicken.
Like, how do you
was
know?
Horny.
And so by the end of this, they want to be like, oh yeah, like
What
Dakota
did you see that-
Johnson, like really redeemed herself. She has this whole family now, but like there was nothing that built up to her earning that.
Yeah.
She was a horrible person.
And then like they're talking, they're like, oh, we love you. And then she starts talking about their future, and she goes, I can see y'all have a really bright and strong future. And then all the girls just go, we know. And then the movie ends like that.
Yeah, and it was so bad. It was so bad. Like, that was like, I've seen like bad B movies. No, that was a bad, high-budgeted movie. That was terrible.
So the reason our review has been so scattered is because that's how the movie was.
That's just how the movie was. And there was nothing, it was just so much. There was so little for so much. And like, I don't know if I already said this, but like, I'm really disappointed because they had such a good cast.
Yeah.
They had amazing actors and actresses with such poor writing. And it's just, there's only so much you can do with good actors and actresses, but with what they were given, there's not much you can do.
Yeah, the movie was, I feel like it had a good baseline to be a good movie if the writing wasn't made by a 5th grader.
Oh, and then the trailer, I don't know if you saw the trailers. I definitely did. Yeah. All the trailers were showing a movie that we just didn't see.
Yeah.
They did not see. We did not see the movie that they were
only
promoting.
parts you saw of like the girls in the suits were like,
It was under a minute.
Yeah,
Under a
visions
minute at
of-
most. And it was just like, it was just so disappointing. Like, I have never, like, brain rot. Like, I felt like that was brain rot.
What really made me mad is because like I was really wanting to see how the girls got their powers, because I had never read the comics, so I didn't really understand like the movies themselves. So I wanted to know how the girls got the powers. No, it just shows how
They just didn't get powers.
Dakota Johnson got hit in the face with a firework and now she's blind. But this movie sucked. Like, that's
just really bad. So there you know. Now you know. And if knowing's half the battle, you're halfway to being a know-it-all yourself. What's the index for you? What's the know-it-all index? Just out of curiosity.
1.8.
1.8 out of 10.
Yeah.
You did it.
Yeah, this was a good, I would say 3 out of 10, only for the fact I really liked the casting, but this was a horrible movie. Absolutely horrible.
Yeah. Marvel's been on just like this giant down.
So wait, don't.
It's an
association with Marvel. Hold on, because I wanted to make that really clear at the beginning. So, yeah, there's not much else I want to say. Do you want to say anything?
Don't waste an hour and 50 minutes of your life if you
Yeah, I feel like I just wasted precious time in my life. If you saw the movie in theaters, I'm sorry you wasted your money for such a bad movie. This is one of the worst rated movies. This was worse. This was worst rated, or like rated worse than Morbius.
I've ever seen like a movie where it was so bad to the point that the critics and audience both agreed
They
that it was bad.
both hated it. And it's just, you know what?
The funnilike funniest one was there was a TikTok of a dude reacting to it. Like he went on like a 20 minutes like
It was a whole bring-in.
with his friend on like a call.
Yeah.
This movie was just bad.
It was
just bad.
Yeah.
I feel like the acting was like, I feel like the best actor was definitely Sydney. She definitely played like a good awkward white girl.
Sydney did great. I just love her.
They just
love her
too much in your face all at once
all at the time.
and never gave an explanation until the end of the movie, which can work.
It can work, but
It's like you just didn't understand.
if only executed correctly, and they didn't execute.
Like
Also, Hold on. I want to point out really quickly. So you see this right here? Like that? Like you see this. Like that's fine. But you see that, and that, like barely. There's no point to it. Why are you putting it on the movie poster?
So if you want to see the movie to see what the girls look like in the suits,
You're not
look at
seeing
my YouTube
anything.
video.
Yeah,
You won't waste any time. You can take out 2 minutes of your life to watch this.
Yeah, so yeah, that's about it.
This movie sucked.
Sucked. There you go. And thank you for doing this review with me. You're great.
Definitely be doing.
You'll be doing more? Yes, sir. Awesome. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. I don't know. I don't do videos like this unless I want to. So the fact you got on there, great. Awesome. Never forget. Do you know it?
No.
Never forget. Everyone loves to know it all. So.
Everyone loves the.
Wait, hold on. Wait, ready. Remember, never forget.
Everyone loves the know-it-all.
Bye.
It's big slime.
I hate you.